各位同學好啊！等我哋而家等緊一個 official opening 之前，即係我個負責人嚟睇睇，係咪我開始之前啊，我哋可以做個 informal 嘅開始啦。咁啊，首先歡迎大家喺呢個炎熱嘅夏日嚟到城市大學。即係而家呢段時間即係風雨交加，不過同時就陽光普照，係嘛？希望大家出門嘅時候，即係應該離開嘅時候咧，就仲未係橫風橫雨啦。
喐兩個嚟咗就講緊呢段時間，我哋就要揾唔該先算 channel。
OK。
電台咧出邊咁你就一齊仲登記緊。
得。有兩位同學都喺出面登記緊，我哋等一等佢啊。不過我諗我哋可傾住閒偈先嘅，係咪啊？大家時間都好寶貴。咁我手頭上咧就都有大家嘅一份名單嘅。咁呢度有34位同學，由 Form 1到 Form 7都有嘅。OK 嚇，咁所以歡迎大家。Form 1嘅同學可唔可以舉手啊？OK， Form 1同學，都唔少喎嚇。Form 2， okay, right, okay, about the same. Form 3, good. Form 4, wow, we got more Form 4. Form 5, okay, Form 5, yes. Year 6, no Year 6, Year 7. I mean 13. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. Now these days we don't have Year 7 anymore. I'm so confused because of changes in high school curriculum system these days. 首先我哋就要解決呢個語文問題 ，OK 嚇，即係其實咧就全世界都唔知有幾多百種語言啊，最低限度。咁所以使用咩語言作為我哋日常嘅生活或者係工作學習咧，其實係一個好重大嘅決定嚟嘅。呢個決定咧其實好 political 嘅好 political 嘅，因為會影響嗰個便利性啦，乜嘢人便利啲啦，係咪嚇？即係同埋個 ethics 啦，係咪嚇？所以其實呢個係一個好重要嘅決定都。咁當然啦，即係越識得多語文嘅個人咧，其實佢係越有利嘅。咁有啲人咧就話會唔會讀咁多語文好辛苦喎？會唔會阻住咗我去吸收其他嘅即係學問咧嘅知識咧？咁係啦，呢位同學都話零頭係咪嚇？唔會嘅。咁我十分之有同感。可能初時有少少嘅，慢少少嘅，即係當你3幾歲嘅時候，師姐話，當你3幾歲嘅時候，同時 expose， 即係同時要expose to several languages。咁你可能你嘅照顧你嗰個人啦嚇，通常係好多時候媽咪啦嚇，但係通常都會有好多爹哋嘅，或者你身邊嘅照顧者。佢哋可能會覺得呢個小朋友咧就即係可能會即係反應嗰度慢丁多都未定，因為佢要 process 㗎。OK， 即係呢個 language 係屬於咩 system？ 呢個 language 咩 system 咁？但係人腦咧就其實叻過電腦好多嘅。雖然而家我哋進入 AI 時代 ，right？ 咁咧就所以經過咗一段都其實相對於我哋而家越嚟越長壽啦嚇，相對於比較短嘅。呢叫萌芽期啦，或者混沌期啦嚇，混沌期啊，但係天地初開一片混沌嗰個混沌咧，咁你發覺咧就會豁然開朗㗎啦。呢個 BB 咧突然之間好精靈 ，alright 即係3幾歲嘅小朋友咧能操幾國語言咁樣嘅情況嘅。咁所以如果大家當然而家大家即係唔係 BB 啦，已經係咪嚇？咁但係咧就要學多幾個語言咧，時為未晚 ，OK 時為未晚。咁唔好講話，大家而家仲係中學求學啦，有大部分都唔係，都未去到畢業嘅年紀嘛，係咪嚇？咁所以仲有幾年嘅時間，就算係接近中學畢業就嚟去讀大學咧，喺大學開始讀一個新嘅語文咧，相對你可能覺得好似好遲嗬，係咪嚇？讀大學先讀一個新語文，但係其實比起你以後仲有60-70年嘅 active life，OK， 一啲都唔遲嘅。All right，所以呢 I strongly encourage all of you to pick up a few more languages。OK， 所以咧喺呢個時候，我哋應該講咩話好咧？ 嗱，咁個 prospectus 咧就講咗咧係廣東話為主，輔以英語嘅。咁如果我哋尊重當初原意，有冇人反對？有冇人cannot manage？ 如果我係廣東話為主，輔以英語 ？Yes。
Would it be all right if you say it in English?
So you cannot understand any Cantonese?
Some Cantonese, but we only understand like 50%.
Okay.
So, and like it would be beneficial if you could speak in English.
All right. Okay. I heard it. Let me ask the others as well. Okay. 其他同學有咩feedback？ 聽唔聽得明嗰兩位同學嘅意見啊？大家都岌頭。有冇同學想好 strongly insist， 即係話想我繼續講廣東話為主 ？OK 嚇，就冇人 insist。如果係嘅話咧，我就尊重少數啦嚇。OK 嚇 ，I will respect the minority because first of all, Hong Kong is an international city, and of course, by international meaning that people from different nations, well, the word international meaning inter-nations, okay? How to define nation is a very tricky question. You can, enroll in our department, which is Public and International Affairs. So where's the name of the department? Okay, Public International Affairs, okay, to understand what do we mean by a nation, okay? And then, and from then on, international affairs. So international affairs is actually more than inter-nations, okay? It's actually stresses diversities, and of course within the nation we got a lot of communities and ethnicities, and how to define ethnicity is another complex story. All right. So in other words, I think the key word to start with is diversities. Why should we respect or cherish diversities? Because to start with, we're simply diverse. All right. This is the starting point. The starting point is you and I, and he and she are all different, independent individuals. So this is a given. This is a given, okay? No question about it. Even though you, I think most of you have siblings, right? Most of you, I wouldn't say all, okay? Most of you will have siblings. So siblings mean then you share at least one parent, right? You share one parent. But even, even twins, okay? Even you are twins, then you are still different because identical twins are identical, so almost, all right? But many of the twins are not identical. Sorry?
Their personality will not be so similar as the physical appearance.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Because personalities, of course, how do they develop different personalities could be a long story, right? So in short, we are born different and we are raised differently, whether we like it or not. This is a fact. So whatever is there, we better respect it and we better make the best of it. Okay, so okay, so let me go straight to the theme of today. The theme of today is sustainable development and the future of Hong Kong. I am from the department, and also I've been working in this department. This department, by the way, is very new. Okay, we are entering our second year in August. This is a new department, but doesn't mean that we just start from scratch. No, because this new department is formed by the merger of two long-standing departments, namely Department of Public Policy, where I was from, and the Department of Asian International Studies. Okay, so public policy plus Asian International becomes public and international affairs. In a nutshell, this is the department where we study important questions such as government, policy, politics, society, and international and global affairs. Okay, so it's very broad from scope, because it starts from where you live, that is the city, right, or the village, from to the country and to the world, right, international, to the world, to the whole world. So it's very broad. And in terms of the spectrum of issues that we might discuss, again, very broad, everything under the sun, right? Everything under the sun could fall within the parameters of this department. Well, in terms of discipline, we are mostly in political science, but we are also in sociology. All right, sociology is about the study of societies, modern society, institutions. We are also in, some of us are philosophers, right? Because we need to philosophize and ask great deep questions about how things are like that, right? And how things could be done differently. All right, so we have a number of colleagues who are philosophers who can teach and research in Department of Philosophy in some other universities. And we have people working on urban studies, okay, focusing on issues in urban studies. And we have colleagues focusing on management. And of course, in terms of research on, specific issues, we have people working on health, working on economic development, working on sustainability, okay, green issues, of course, political development, and so on and so forth. All right. So Southeast Asia studies is one of our strengths. So that's it. And budget, okay, because understanding how government, it's organized and government spends money, right, requires us to understand public finance. That's the study of budget. All right, so that's a very brief and of the department. And I'm also from the Research Center for Sustainable Hong Kong, which is a research center not only based at this department, but also with members from all over the universities. This is an interdisciplinary research center, which I direct. Okay, so we research on issues with major implications on development in Hong Kong. Okay, so let's see. Does it work? Do it the traditional way? No? How? How come? Okay. Well, this is something that you will be reminded to do so after the class. Okay, so I will leave it to our colleague to brief you what you need to do after today. Okay, so shall you follow that up maybe after class? Okay, all right. So this is the focus what I want to discuss in the next 50 minutes or so. I would like, by the way, I would welcome questions, okay, when I speak, but certainly I would try to leave a few minutes, okay, at the end, so that, any questions most welcome. First of all, the meaning of sustainability, okay, and how can a development of a city or community be sustainable? So this is I would say this is the key question. This is the most important question that I would like to address, with you today. As part of it, okay, or part of the question to this, part of the answer to this question is the dimensions involved in the concept of sustainability. And actually in real life, what are the means and ways for us to measure or assess performance in sustainability? In other words, how do we know something is more or less sustainable? Okay, so this is a question. I may not be able to address this this second question in a lot of detail today, but I think it's important for you to bear in mind the question set, okay, at the beginning. And thirdly, about come back to Hong Kong, in the Hong Kong context, the challenges of sustainability and how may we proceed with mitigating or addressing some of the challenges and addressing them in a sustainable way, okay? Well, I think addressing something in a sustainable way is very important because like how to get an A+ in your exam. Well, people will say that, well, I just study hard, right? Study hard as possible. That's the way. Well, maybe yes, but how hard is hard, right? How can you sustain studying hard over a period of time, a long period of time? Because, you know, are you going to study hard in the last 30 days before exam, right? And then would it be able to do the job, right? And then because you are not only having one exam, you are not only having one single exam, so that you can focus on it, and then I would do nothing else, just study that subject for 30 days. Maybe that works, right? But if you are going to attempt, you have to go for exam for 10 subjects or 5 subjects. Okay, never mind 10, all right? 5 subjects or 6 subjects within the same week, right? Within the same week. Then if you leave until the last 30 days of the week and study very hard, would you be able to do so? How much time do you have? Still only 24 days, 24 hours in a day, right? So maybe you find that, no, I cannot just focus on the last 30 days. So I have to do it longer, right? Study hard, I have to study longer. How long is long? 6 months? 1 year? 2 years, right? So the longer it is, the more strategy, the more you need to think how I can persist, how I can continue, right? How we can continue, because we'll say when you are thinking that I need to study hard for my exam, and then I'm going to do it in the last 30 days of my exam before my exam, then you will say that, oh, I would refuse all the invitations to parties, right? I will not go to movies, right? I will say no to my parents. I'm not going to dim sum with you anymore, right? Actually, I hate dim sum, right? So that's why I get a very good excuse not to go with you guys, right? Because I need to study. You may be able to do so if you are focusing on the last 30 days, but if you're focusing on 1 year or 2 years, can you afford to do so? No parties, no movies, right? No meals, no dining out whatsoever? Probably not, right? Probably not. So you need a strategy which you can implement sustainably, which means over a period of relatively long periods of time, right? So the key word is sustainably. It's very important. Okay, so these are the key. Again, what's happening? I'm very bad at machines, and the machines is not good to me. So how should I? Yeah, I know. But there is no response about that. Oh, now it works. Okay. Then what does sustainability, this concept, means? Well, since I'm supposed to speak in Chinese originally, okay, I check up what does this word, you know, how do we say this in Chinese, right? Sustainability. 平時咧，你會聽到 ，let me go to Chinese， OK？ 平時咧，我哋會講持續啊，即係個 keyword 應該係持續 ，OK？ 持續。咁咧有陣時你會聽永續，永續咧就係會比較係台灣 ，OK 嚇，台灣嗰邊咧就會講永續嘅。咁但係香港同埋中國大陸咧都會通常係用持續嘅 ，all right？ 咁但係咧我會覺得有陣時候你會見到會加個可字嘅可持續性嘅 ，all right？ 嗱性呢個字性即係加個性喺嗰度咧 ，sorry。 Yes, yes. I'm saying in Chinese, what do we use? What word do we know? What word do we know? Use. And but using the adding the word 可，其實係歐化語句嚟㗎，我覺得係。我 personally 覺得係 ，OK 我都應該係相信係啱，係咁樣嘅。所以如果正規嘅中文咧，其實就唔使寫可嘅，唔使寫可嘅，就持續性就得㗎啦。不過咧就好多時候，你如果而家大家去 Google 下啦即係好多時候都會有個可字喺度嘅。All right，咁大家要 bear this in mind，OK 你記住我今日同大家講嘅嘢，呢個主要係因為我哋用咗歐化語句啫，係咪？應該即係正規中文咧就持續性得㗎啦。所以我個Research Centre for Sustainable Hong Kong 咧個中文名咧有個中文名啦，當然係咪嚇？咁中文名就叫做香港持續發展研究中心，就我唔會叫自己做香港可持續發展研究中心。All right， 咁當然我理解點解要加個可啦即係可其實可以嘅 short form 啊嘛，係咪可以嘛？即係話咧要做啲咩嘢先至令我哋可以持續 ，right？即係唔係唔通嘅，但係如果係以即係比較傳統嘅中文咧，我哋講緊嘅傳統嘅中文咧，其實咧就如果作為一個名詞嘅話咧，即係可以持續就係動詞嚟噶嘛，或者助語詞添啊，即係助動詞添啦咁但係如果係一個名詞嘅話咧，其實就唔使可字嘅應該係。不過後來我哋整下變咗歐化語句先有個可字啫。咁所以我都想即係同同學講聲，即係等你有呢個 concept， 明白？ Okay. So let us switch back to the English one. So what does this word mean? Okay, sustainability. To keep it short, I think it basically means the quality. Okay, the quality of being able to continue over a long period of time. All right. So so when we talk about sustainability, the time dimension is important. We are thinking about you are able to do something, all right, but not to do that something, but you will be able to persist. It means that you can continue to do so. You will not be only be able to just do it in one go, okay, just one off, but rather you can continue and persist over time, over a relatively long period of time, and that is that time dimension is inherent in the concept of sustainability. But that is only emphasize the time dimension. Very important is, so what kind of quality are we talking about, right? Is the kind of quality being able to continue. So what kind of quality are we talking about? That is important. So that's what I'm going to. So for the kinds of quality that we need to take note of, actually, there can be 3 pillars, okay, in 3 dimensions or 3 dimensions. So there is 3 types, okay, or 3 types of qualities that is involved. These 3 types, okay, these 3 dimensions, on the one hand, they are 3, meaning that they're different, right? Otherwise, why should we call 3, right? So they are different. But on the other hand, they are also interrelated, okay? They're also interrelated. They are not totally isolated. So what are these 3? These 3 pillars of sustainability, the first is about the planet side. So we are talking about the planet, the Earth, okay? The Earth that we human being and other living human being are living, okay, are living on this planet. The planet dimension of sustainability, that is the quality of things that would enable the planet to continue its existence over a long period of time. All right, so that's the dimension. And the second is economic dimension. Economic dimension meaning that would we be able to have production, all right? We're able to produce those goods and services that we can consume, and that would enable us have a so-called better life, all right? So that's the economic dimension. So how can we develop our economy in a way that it will continue to prosper in our words, okay? It will not, oh, because of last year we grow too much, so the economy become overheated. Oh, that's why we have problem next year, right? So we have all these kinds of cycles, okay? 1 year good, the other year is bad, and okay, and then with the third year very difficult. Okay, only after a few years of rest, then we go back to normal. Then if we have so much this kind of difficult cycles, then the economy is not in a too good shape. Okay, it's not in a very good shape. So if we want to have a kind of a situation that we minimize the period when we have problems in the economy, right? So we won't have a lot of inflation, we won't have a lot of deflation, all right? And so we have longer period of stability. We have some growth. We don't need a lot of growth, right? But we want steady growth. We want steady growth. And then we want the way the economy grows in such a way that the dividends, that is the benefits of economic growth, will be shared widely. Okay, widely. May not be evenly. In other words, maybe we cannot achieve everybody get the same quantity out of it, right? So there might be unevenness, but first of all, the degree of unevenness must not be too large. Secondly, even the worst off segment of the population will be able to enjoy a kind of well-being, right? Which would be sustainable. Sustainable meaning that this group of people will be able to live in a healthy way, right? So in terms of longevity, they would be on a par with people who are better off economically. Okay, so for instance, one indicator. All right, so that is about the second dimension. The third dimension is about the people dimension, the society dimension, meaning that, of course, you may say so. Then how about the non-people living beings, right? Yes, the non-people living beings, we put it under the planet side, because after all, this discussion of sustainability is more human-centered, right? So we are human-centered nonetheless, okay? So the non-human living, well-being, and also how about the mountains, okay? The well-being of the mountains, the rivers, they all belong to the planet dimension, okay? So the people dimension refers to the humankind, okay? The humankind dimensions. So issues of equity, okay? Issues of, so how do people get together? Do they get together well? Do they fight a lot? Or are people generally happy and contented? Or do we have a lot of angry people and frustrated people flowing around, right? And so these are the people dimension. And how to make people happy, right? And so that's the dimension of governance. That is how to regulate, how to regulate the relationship between people, between individuals, and between societies, right? Because as we know, it is a given fact that we are organized, right? We are organized. We do not live in the vacuum. We do not live in a social vacuum on this planet of the Earth, right? So on this planet of the Earth, there's billions of people were organized in this modern time into how many nation states, right? I forgot the count, 100 something, I forgot.
It's almost 100.
Already almost 200? Okay, all right,
More or less.
more or less, good.
If you count like some countries, because they're not always recognized.
Mm. Good, yeah, you have done your homework, very good. So yeah, how to organize the people, right? And then how to regulate them. So that is the area of government and governance. So the three pillars. I bet you have heard the term sustainable development, right? Not only from this course, right? Not only from this course, but this word sustainable development has been with us since you were born, I suppose. Okay, since you were born. This sustainable development actually refers to, go back to these 3 pillars. Okay, these 3 circles in a graphic way depicts the 3 pillars of sustainability. So we have the green circle representing the planet dimension. Okay. And the orange one representing the profit one, the economy side, and the blue one representing society. Well, the colors are random. Okay, you can use any color you want. Okay, there's no authoritative, colors assigned to these 3 pillars. And so these 3 pillars, on the one hand, they are different. Okay, conceptually they refer to different things. But on our hand, in real life, they do overlap. They do overlap. And so the concept of sustainable development refers to where the 3 pillars, they converge, okay? In other words, when we have a certain state of development, when we have the planet and also the economy and also the society, they are all sustainable, then we would say we have reached a situation of sustainable development. Okay. Well, by the way, this concept of 3 pillars and how to achieve sustainable development, we have to look into these 3 pillars. In other words, we cannot just look at the planet dimension. Planet dimension refers to, for instance, now it's very topical. The warming effect, right? The greenhouse warming effect. That's why we are getting so hot in the summer, right? We are getting a lot of drought around the world, and we are getting flooding, here and there. So this global warming thing, and the pollution, right? Pollution, the air is getting toxic, and we got a lot of the oceans getting polluted. So we got a lot of species in the ocean getting extinct. Right, not to say forests getting fire, right, and then a lot of animals losing their habitat. So the planet side, right, there's a lot of discussion, and then governments have been mobilized, in series of meetings, and then they have started to turn out policies to address these issues. Belatedly, I must say, okay, belatedly, but at least they are starting to act on this dimension, the planet dimension. But not only the planet, we have to work on the economy. In other words, because why we have so many problems with the planet? Because the way we grow our economy in the past, right? Because the way we grow our economy, we create a lot of polluted gas, and then that contributed to the global warming, partly, of course. Okay, there's a lot of contributing factors. So these are all interrelated. In order for us to clean the planet, we need to change the way we do our business. Okay, we need to change the economy side. So that's why we have the discussion about green growth or circular growth. And the society refers to how we organize our people, and then how can we make people happy, how we address issues of equity and discrimination, right? So all this would rely on decision making, right? Because assuming if everybody has the same say, and we have a lot of chances to discuss, all right, and come to a consensus, then I would say by and large, I can only say by and large, that is in most cases, I think we would be able to come up with a decision which would be acceptable for all of us, right? So like the way we just discussed what language we should use, right? So obviously I need to ascertain whether there will be any individual who will be left out by a certain choice, right? So we find out if I continue to use Cantonese mostly, at least 2 of you will be left out, all right? So a proposal was, should we switch to English mainly and maybe supplemented by Cantonese, right? So the other way around. So I need to ask again, right? Whether anybody will be left out if I choose the second path, right? And in this case, nobody says that they will be left out. So I can use English, right? But what if, right? Somebody say, raise the hand. No, sorry, Linda. I discovered that I could not manage English, even though it should not be the case mostly, right? But what if, okay, what if there's such a case? Then what do you think I would decide? Anyone? Anyone? If you were in my position, okay, given today's circumstances, given all the announcements before the class. Sorry?
Because this is the original language that is you decide.
Correct. I would do that. Yes. Okay. Because if in case there is somebody saying that actually I cannot manage, if I switch to English mostly, right, then I would respect the original arrangement, because that was the Cantonese mostly supplemented by English is the announced medium, right? So I would use that. Okay. But because nobody say no, then obviously why not, right? Why not be flexible so that everybody can benefit? Okay. Okay. So that is, but of course, that also counts on you, because maybe some of you may still prefer, right? Of course, you can still understand, obviously, you can understand. I would expect students from Hong Kong, right, would understand use of English. But it is very understandable that you would still prefer a class in Cantonese mostly, especially this is the original announcement, right? So some of you may prefer, but you have thought about the well-being of your class, of your peers, right? And even though this is my first preference, can I manage the second preference, right? Well, if I can manage, I can go by, right? I can survive. Okay, I can still use it, right? I can still use. So that really relies on the attitude and empathy, all right, of the participants involved, and this is also the quality of the participants. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. But this is something that a democratic society need to foster. Okay, need to foster the ability to really think more broadly, all right, and not to always think about one's first preference. That's why I strongly encourage you to learn more than 1 or 2 languages. Okay, so start from today. All right. So the 2 of you, okay, especially if you continue to live in Hong Kong, please, okay. Now you are conversing in Cantonese in 50%, as you said, right?
Understand Cantonese, we speak it with us, but like we prefer English because like some of the words are very hard to understand. I understand. I fully understand. I'm just encouraging you, okay, in your day-to-day, because after all, it would be very easy for you, okay, in your day-to-day life, right? But maybe in an academic environment, you would still certainly prefer English. Okay, that is totally understandable. Okay, after all, this is an English medium university. So in your future classes, okay, future education, be ready. I will not speak a single word in Chinese to you guys. Okay, so that is what you should expect, because we want to expose our students. We want to enhance your ability to communicate with the rest of the world. While Chinese is being spoken by the most number of people in the world, because we are such a populous country. But still, okay, in terms of the body of knowledge,
a lot of knowledge is not still fully available in Chinese, okay? And so in order for all of you to excel in your career and your life, you better can function well and perfectly in English, as well as in Chinese, of course, okay? I hope I will be able to improve my Chinese as well. I write in Chinese more often than before. I do publish in Chinese, in fact, okay? So you're welcome to read my publications in both Chinese and English. Right, I should be quick. Right, some challenges and developments. When we talk about developments and challenges, always remember the T's of context, okay? Now we are talking about, we are discussing this concept in Hong Kong, so well, the local context, but actually in regional context and global context, they all would have, you know, issues and challenges. And these different contexts often are interrelated, right? They are interrelated. So you need to understand all of them. But I'm not going to give you a lecture on all these because it would kill you and would kill me. I cannot do it in 30 minutes, okay? So, but I would actually want to hear a bit of your views. What do you know about some of these challenges? So it's time for you to speak up. So Loman, can you help me when they speak? You can just type the keywords in this line. Is there anyone would like to volunteer? No, not this one. Just type on that. Maybe start a new page. Start a new slide. Okay. What can you say about? Yeah.
For global, for example, global warming.
Okay, global warming.
It's global because everybody is affected by global warming more or less. And unless everybody works together, we can't stop it. No country alone can stop it.
Good. So this is a global issue, but also a local issue as well, right? Because it affects everybody. It affects every home and every individual. Right. Very good. Yeah. Another one? Come on. Anything you can think of, yes.
It's difficult to balance financial growth and sustainable development in terms of the plans.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Because companies will try their best to earn the most amount of money possible, but by doing so, they might have to sacrifice the planet side of it. So it's hard for them to maintain a balance between financial development and also the planet development.
You mean balance financial development and what development?
It's hard to not sacrifice one side when you're trying to earn the most amount of money.
Yeah, I can see, you know, on one side, we want to be as profitable as possible, right? And what is the other side? What is the other side?
Protecting the planet.
Protecting the environment. Okay. That's it. But actually, this is actually the concept about green development, right? Or green growth. How to, on one hand, the traditional objective, right? Try to earn as much as possible, right? But traditionally, we find that they have a lot of issues like pollution or other things, and actually pollution is only one small of it. Come back to you later, okay? And that is have an hour of this. We'll come back to you. Yes. You have a lady? Yes.
For a local, there is the lack of land for development.
Yeah, local issue, lack of land, right? But this local issue is not restricted to Hong Kong, in fact, right? But of course, it's more acute in Hong Kong and in major cities, you know, like Hong Kong. Yes.
In terms of global issues, we can focus on international relations and how other countries can be involved in improving the progressivity of the world's like sustainability. And in terms of local, Hong Kong people can, like for example, the Hong Kong government can propose regulations and laws to benefit the people involved in this economy. And in terms of regional, perhaps in Asia as a region, we can focus on, because sometimes environmental problems come from neighboring countries. So regional, we can focus on how as a neighboring country we can like improve on the whole as well. And we should consider the obviously there's going to be chances where discrimination is involved, like risk, not all parties are satisfied, and we can also consider on like protecting their interests as well.
Okay. So first of all, it's international relations. The international relations, I guess we are talking about how states or how governments, right, they cooperate and work together, because if they fail to cooperate, work together, they might be conflict and wars, right? And I'm not to say that they cannot work together to relieve some of those other issues that we know of, right? And discrimination, obviously, is an issue. Yeah.
Another add-on to like the local international cooperation, sometimes different nations simply just don't get along. Like for example, and like due to old rivalries, like for example, China and Japan can't really agree on anything. So that would be a major issue in terms of global cooperation. Like, what do you do if they just don't agree?
Oh, but first of all, Japan and China, even though they often quarrel and have a lot of conflict and tension, they sometimes do agree. Actually, there is a lot of cooperation between these two countries and leaders. And not to say among the people, okay? There's a lot of friendship between the peoples. But of course, they're learning how to
Make sure all
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah. Yes, that is the key, you know, how to make it happen, right? That's right, yes. Should we have some response from this side? Oh, yeah, my left side and your right side? Yeah. Somebody from the front row? Yes.
We are among the people in the national problems. So, in Hong Kong, there are some of the problems that urban development. So there is rapidly in Hong Kong that we growing population. So the housing problem is really serious. And the government cannot really sustainable development. The new areas are new things, but in the open space and in not housing aspects. The local issues is housing.
Good, yeah. Very good.
I'd like to mention about the gender equality since it was like doesn't popular around the world because people new thinkings of their own personality and sexual problems. So I think that gender is pretty important for sustainability.
Yes. Yeah, gender is actually, you know, on the one hand, we got new frontiers, right? New frontiers being pushed in many societies, like cross gender, transgender, right? So, pushing the boundaries of families or marriages, right? But on the other hand, we do have still a good deal of societies, you know, where the more vulnerable gender, okay, is still suffering very, you know, very dire situation, right? I trust all of you know the Taliban, you know, and Afghanistan after Taliban come back to power, right? So, females in Afghanistan were barred from going to work and going to school. Okay, and going to school. And so that was the situation in the 20th century when they were in power, but then now in the 21st century, this has recurred again. This is getting very unbelievable, but this is real life occurrence and it's having a real impact on the school, right? To the veterans.
All the US to invade them again.
Well, you may try. All right, very good. Yeah, so we have this well, the PowerPoint I think CityU outreach office, provost office would send back a copy of the PowerPoint to all of you, okay, after the class. That will include the summary of reviews. All right. So good. Well, this is something I prepared before I come today. You know, if I'm going to give a quick overview of the development challenges globally and regionally and Hong Kong over these 3 dimensions. The planet, yes, global warming, you have it, right? And this global warming and environment is actually posing existential risk to obviously to the planet itself and to all the lives forms living on the planet. So this is existential risk because we might go extinct, right? Yes, yes. And then the planet in the worst day can explode, right? we have seen this, right? In lots of in some movies of obviously, okay, documentaries, you know, no, we cannot see those real life happening, but movies, yes. The society part, right? We have a bit, right? We talk about the gender thing and then discrimination, and this broadly speaking, this is all about equity, right? This is all about equity, and equity. Why equity is important? But you know, use a more commonsensical word, simple word, well-being, right? Do you feel well? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel secure? All right. So do you feel secure? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel that you have you know, a vision that your life in 10 years will be better than today? So if you have such a vision, then I think you still have a pretty good sense of well-being. All right. But in some societies or in some vulnerable groups, they don't have such a vision. Okay, you ask the people, they've been saying, no, okay, I think I'm doomed, okay? I don't think my life will get better, right? So that is a sense of well-being, all right? People may not be able to talk about in abstract concept of equality or equity or whatever, right? But how do you feel? Do you feel safe, right? Do you feel respected, right? Are you happy, right?
Yeah.
So these are simple words. Simple, that's very important. So in order to do that, we need good communications, right? We need good communications. We need some good methods of talking, dialogue, and then we need some good procedural steps. We need to know how to make decisions. This needs to be learned, all right? This is not simple. This needs to be learned. So please learn it. If you think that, well, I hope you have learned quite a good deal by the time you're here. All right. You have learned a quite a good deal, but this is a thing that very important. Please keep on learning. All right. And reflecting on what you are, what you observe or what decision rules you yourself are practicing. Be reflective. All right. And then think about how can I improve my decision-making rules? How can I influence my significant others, namely your friends, your parents, okay, and your teachers, okay? I think these are the people who are most important and most dearest to you, right? But you do have an influence because I am influenced by my kids, okay? I'm often criticized by them. Mom, you are. Please, okay? They said, please. Okay, so keep on learning. right? That is important, governance and communication. Economy, we talk about this quite a lot already, right? So we need to go beyond linear growth. Linear growth, that is traditional way of growing, okay? This year, grow 5%. Next year, another 5, and we hope we go to 7, or hope we go to 12, right? So this is linear growth, just looking at how many zeros do I have in my bank account, right? But you also need to think about, how do I got all these extra zeros, okay? If I get the extra money in by some very nasty means, I should have second thoughts, first of all, right? And then, and how are we going to use those money? Also very important, all right? And how to, so earning money in a just way, it's also important, because that's how we contribute to the economy, and how to make the economy path sustainable as well, right? So in Hong Kong, obviously, we are part of the planet. So the global warming, we share it. We share the global warming, we share the typhoon, we share the heat, right? Of course, we have pollution, we have land use problem, right? So we have a bit of everything of the global problem, right? And the society, we also have our more than fair share, I must say, okay? So we have issues in equity, we have affordability issues in a lot of things, right? Our houses are too small, too compact, and sorry?
And too expensive.
Yeah, expensive, yes, not affordable, right? For most of us. And we do have issues about governance, all right? We have seen regression in political participation in the last few years. So that is a very big issue in Hong Kong. And one country, two system falls into this, right? Because one country, two system is about political arrangement, it's about governance, all right? So how to make it work, how to make it sustainable, I think this is a big issue, all right? This is a big issue. And of course, this issue would have an impact on the planet side as well, and also on the economy side, right? Because how to regulate things, how to regulate people would affect your performance in environment, right? Would affect your performance in economy. So that is an overarching thing. Well, economy, of course, you see the head news these few days, right? We have the chief executive touring around the 3 Asian countries, and the focus is obviously on economic development, right? Need to boost the growth of Hong Kong and to find new areas of growth, right? So that is the focus on economy. And at the same time, you know, we need to make our growth, you know, hand in hand with our other dimensions of sustainability as well, and which will mean circular economy and green growth. Yes. Oh yeah, certainly. So I should stop. Any questions? Maybe this last slide as a reminder. Okay, reminder sustainability, how it affects your daily life, I would say 4 dimensions. The most basic things when you think about sustainability and yourself, I would think about health, right? Are you healthy? Are you fit? Healthy, 2 broad dimensions. Physical, right? Second, mental. All right, mental, not only mean that are you crazy? No, all right, but also we referring to emotional health, okay, social health is also part of it, all right? So remember this is the most important thing, because it's the most basic. Second, obviously, economic well-being, because you need to consume, right? When you grow up, you need to eat, right? You need to consume resources from society, and which means that you need to produce, right? You need to produce and you need to consume. So that is your economic well-being side. And so that needs to be nurtured as well. Social well-being, we all need friends. You cannot live alone by yourself, right? So the social well-being is very important, and social well-being would also contribute to your health, right? Good health. Because if you have no friends, if your family are mad with you and you are mad with your family, very difficult, right? So occasionally sometimes we are mad with our families because they are the closest to us. That's why we can be mad with our closest people, right? But please remember, they are your last resort and you are their last resort as well. So treasure them, okay? Treasure them. If you are mad, just a minute, walk away from the scene when you have a fight or a quarrel. Have a glass of room temperature water because that is good for your health, okay? Then go back in an hour. Don't wait for too long, okay? Don't wait for too long, in an hour or so. You don't need to say sorry if you don't want to. Of course, if you want to, by all means, but just say something or give a glass of warm water to the others. Just that would be very good. You will find magic. Try it if you haven't done so. Okay, try it the next time you are mad with your best friend or your families. Okay? And the last one, very important, your meaning in life. How do you see your life? How do you ascribe meaning to it? And what do you aspire to do as a human being, right? As a man and a woman, or whoever you want to be, right? So that's something that you need to think about, and that would help you to sustain, because if you don't see meaning is your meaning, okay? Only you yourself can give an answer. Nobody can tell you that your meaning of life is meaningless, okay? All right? As long as your meaning in life does not hurt people, of course, okay? If you think that, oh, my meaning in life is to kill how many people, right? So that I get rich, right? Then I'm sorry, I have to say no, right? But that is the bottom line, in other words, okay? That's the bottom line, but out of the bottom line, you are your sovereign, all right? You are your sovereign. So think wildly and freely about what you want to do and how you define who you are. Okay, I should stop. And by the way, advertisement time. Advertisement. Advertisement, do take a look at the brochure of my department. And of course, I welcome you to visit our research center. And lots of things are on the web, and you are better online than I am. I'm very old-fashioned. Okay, Shirley, your time. Thank you.